Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Nguyen, part of Mexico House Church. Let's go. I'm up here today to talk about my Living Life Bible Study class experience. To help put it in perspective, though, I would first like to briefly mention my time at A&F. This will be a good way to introduce myself as well. As some of you know me, and some of you do not. This is also an accelerated history lesson of the beginnings of A&F. So to those who may not know, I think it would be somewhat fun and enlightening, as A&F was founded by Pastor Daniel only 5 years ago, coming on 6 years in December. So I came to A&F as a non-believer when it was still called Rock Church, or when it was Rock Church, during the fall of 2017, where the services were only in Korean. So Crystal, Nuri, Myungjin, and Ethan were a few members who were kind and patient enough to translate for me. They would sit with me the entire service when Isaac's dad, Pastor Lee, would be giving his sermon, and they would translate the whole thing. And Pastor Lee, I don't know if you've ever been to any of his services, but he's a very passionate speaker, and he can go talk for 45 minutes to an hour, and they would translate for an hour. Phil also translated for me a few times, but his translations tended to be a little short. Maybe every 20 minutes he would translate for me. And sometimes I would nudge him and be like, Phil, what did Pastor Lee say? And he would just look at me and smile. So there was also one Korean speaking service where there was a guest speaker. And he was asking the congregation questions. That day, I unfortunately didn't have someone translating for me. And I was also sitting in the front. So he ended up asking me a question and in Korean, and all I could answer was a half-hearted "nee." I later found out that he asked me if I was going to sign up for a mission trip, so I felt really bad. I was part of one of only 2 house churches at the time, Phil and Cecilia's, and the other being Sean and Jamie's. And I was with Danny, Holly, Stephen, Isaac, Midi, Ethan, Kimmy, and Nobu. Many of those names you know very well, and some of them you probably have never heard of here at A&F. But to mention all of them, even if they are present in this room or elsewhere in the world, is to highlight A&F's humble beginnings. So I multiplied over to Danny and Holly's house church, and then to Jason's. And although I didn't multiply from Jason's to Crystal's, I'm currently part of Mexico House Church. Again, represent. I had stopped coming to A&F for some time, though, and today, even today, I still attend very infrequently. But I'm thankful to have been a part of A&F at its inception, and I'm humbled to be considered by some as an original member of A&F, even though I'm not an actual member. So jump to now, and I figured after nearly 7 years, give or take a year or two of absence, it would be interesting to take a Bible study class and be taught by Pastor Daniel. It would be fun to take it with my fellow A&F members as well. So a few people mentioned they were going to take the class and that I should take it with them. So I decided to sign up with the idea that this could be a good way to spend time with them while also learning more about the Bible. However, I won't be like Jin during his testimony when he called somebody out. So without naming names, those people ended up dropping the class and forgot to tell me. I was talking with Alan, and he was in the same boat as me, and he did say that I could mention somebody's name, and that person is Mpanga. But I was going to stay committed to taking the class regardless of if others were taking it or not. I had initially gone in with the mindset of it being a social event, but I realized it was about focusing on learning about the Bible and how to live life through the lessons Pastor Daniel was teaching. It was a great experience, asking different questions and having fruitful discussions with PD and the rest of the class. I had taken Bible classes before from elementary school to college, but it wasn't until Pastor Daniel's class where I was actually reading the Bible fully, and it was actually the time where I read the Bible the most. It was also a great way for me to serve when we cooked dinner, and I cooked with Jonathan, Nguyen, Stefan, and Daniel. So in the end, however, my faith remained the same, but with a better understanding of the Bible and a better understanding of Christian life. So why am I up here giving you this speech? Pastor Daniel was gracious enough to allow me to speak. As a non-believer, though, what compelled me to want to share something about the class? I think the perspective that I want to share to believers and non-believers alike that are out there is that there's always something new and good to learn. Some members who have taken the class before have said that they are being refreshed on things while still learning something new about the Bible. I wanted to learn more about the Bible and be taught by Pastor Daniel, but I also wanted to be a part of this great community in a different way than I normally would be. I wanted to devote my time to being consistent with going to class and doing the homework. And as a non-believer, it was a fun time, and I think that is important. That shows the inclusiveness of A&F, its pastor, and its members, that a guy like me can have a great experience. So I'd like to thank my fellow classmates for taking the class, Crystal for taking it with her sheep, and the other shepherds in the class for doing the same, Jiwan, Stephen, Jess, Steph. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but, oh yeah, and Jason. Apologies. That was unintentional. But I'd like to also thank Pastor Daniel for being a phenomenal teacher, especially during his tough time. And I'd like to conclude by saying that I'm sure I'm not the only person people may know who's been a VIP for as long as I have. You may know of others who have been VIPs for longer. So maybe if there's anything to take away from what I've shared, to believers and non-believers alike, is to stay striving, whether it is to help that VIP you've known for a long time, or one you've just met, or to want to keep learning to see where your faith takes you. We're all still doing and learning something new, as we're all on the same path, regardless of how far we've walked. Thank you.